And here we go, live, brand new Locked On Pistons Squad Show starts right now. Jake Riepma alongside host of Locked On Pistons, Khahil, and two-time NBA champ Lindsey Hunter. The Pistons take a 1-0 series lead. How about it?
They improved upon last series, not starting down 0-1, protecting home court. They have a chance to really protect it tonight.
Yep, and finally we see the Pistons almost put together a total game, so hopefully that can continue.
This is Locked On's Pistons Squad Show, the twice-a-week show where Pistons talk gets real. No filters, no fluff, just raw takes, sharp opinions, and straight-up passion for the game. The way only Locked On Podcast Network knows how. Let's drop some dimes and squad up. The Pistons Squad Show starts now.
And we're live. Welcome one, welcome all. Say hello in the chat. You got the live Locked On Pistons Squad Show with you on a Thursday, a victorious Thursday, a playoff game number 2 Thursday. Fired up to be with you, Jake Riepma alongside Khahil and Lindsey Hunter. Today's episode is brought to you by our good friends over at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use that code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. I kick it to you first, and then Lindsey Hunter. What a day for the Detroit Pistons in game number 1. Got a little dicey there at one point, and you knew it would. It's going to be a competitive series. It's a heavyweight fight, this, that, and the other. But when it's all said and done, Pistons out on top.
Yeah, I thought Lindsey mentioned it earlier, very early, that I thought this was one of the only complete games. You could argue Game 7 was as well for the Pistons,
Right.
But this was back-to-back. It felt like just complete games from them from opening tip. I really felt like they controlled the game. Even when it got to 95 all, even at that point, as soon as they came out the timeout, they immediately went on a 6-0 run and it never felt like, for me, for a brief second, maybe in the fourth quarter, you can say, it's Cleveland going to steal this. But really, for like 99% of the game, I felt like the Pistons were in complete control of the game. They played exactly how they wanted it to play out. They played their defense. They dominated the margins. They won the possession battle, all those things. And Jalen Duren talked about the possession battle a lot after the game in the presser and in the locker room. So it seems like they really are locked in. It feels like, at least it feels like, that series in the first round did good things for them and helped them rediscover themselves and really lock in. And they looked like that in game 1. I thought that went about as good as you could have asked it to look.
Right. Yeah, cool. I also always try to pay attention to like the identity of teams, and we all knew watching the first series, Orlando, they really, for the most part of that series, were the more physical team. I knew going into this one that Cleveland doesn't play that way. That's not their character. That's not their identity. And I felt like it would free up Duren a lot more. Hopefully it continues to go that way. But I knew that the Pistons had the advantage as far as the physicality was going to be concerned, and they showed that first game. They just clearly hustle points, just playing harder. They played harder, were more relentless, and I think that's why we dominated the game from start to finish. I never worried about that game. Even when the game was tied, I was like, we're good. My girl was like, oh my God, we're losing. I was like, no, we're good. I said, I don't even feel like they could steal this one. I just felt like we had control of it. And, they made some big shots and came through. Cade came through, had 2 great dimes to Duren that kind of put the game away. So I like the way the Pistons played. Hopefully they come out the same way. The curious thing that I want to see is if Cleveland plays their best offensive game and we play our best defensive game, what's going to happen? Which one is going to, be the end result of us winning defensively or them playing the way they want to play offensively? Because, they can explode offensively.
For sure.
Yeah, I felt like it was evident at times in game 1, the defensive pressure and the discomfort and discombobulation that the Pistons defense forced the Cavaliers into time and time again, obviously contributed to the win in a big way. But we got a great show lined up. As always, the live Locked On Pistons Squad Show. I guess if you don't know by now, you're missing out, but we're live twice a week. Lindsey Hunter, Khahil, and myself, Tuesdays and Thursdays at this time, and no better time than the playoffs. Appreciate all the comments that are coming in, especially this one right here. I love this show. By the way, went to Game 7 for the first time being in Detroit at a playoff game. Screen screamed so hard I bruised my ribs.
There you go.
That's the kind of energy we love, and that's the kind of energy.
You can't just be Lindsey with the sweat equity out here in the stands. Someone else has to show up.
That's right. It's a group effort from the faithful at LCA. But you guys were both in the building for game number 1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's go right there now. How was the atmosphere? And Lindsey, no Angel Reese chance to start this time around, but you had the crowd going.
Oh, definitely. It was loud. So I was sitting next to G-Mac, the rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he was loud as like I had to move. I went down to the other end. I was like, G-Mac is rowdy, standing up, yelling. I'm trying to yell. You know what I'm saying? It was too much at one time. I had to go to the other end where I could be the only one yelling.
I thought the crowd was really good. In the first half, it looked a little light, but it got really packed in the second half. Second half, it was really packed. It was very, very loud in the second half. I saw a lot of talk about, what's going on with the crowd? Why is there not a lot of people here? It filled out as the game went on. And that's something I've noticed with Piston games, is at the beginning of the games don't look as packed, but as you get closer and closer, like the third quarter, it starts to like really pack in. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people say that people hang out in the bars around Little Caesars Arena and like on the concourse area or whatever and wait until the second half. But I thought the crowd, when it mattered most, it really was hype. There was a play. I forget which play it was. It might have been a fast break play they scored on, but there was a play in the second half where the crowd got so loud it started ringing in my ears. I'm like, okay. But yeah, I thought the crowd was really good in the second half, and it looked really packed in the arena. My brothers and sisters my sister went to her first playoff game, and they all got together and went to this game, and they absolutely loved it. They thought the atmosphere was incredible. So they enjoyed their time. I think a lot of fans enjoyed their time. I did want to ask you guys this, though. What was your guys' biggest takeaway from game 1? Like, could I have one takeaway that stands out to me? What was your guys' biggest takeaway from how the Pistons won?
Well, the biggest thing for me is knowing what Cleveland has been in the playoffs, which is what they turn the ball over the second most in this out of all the teams in the playoffs. They are the second most team in turnovers. And the Pistons, how do we generate offense? We generate offense through turnover, steals, and things like that. So I felt like that. Like if that holds true throughout this series, that'll be an advantage for us, and that'll help us manufacture points, which it did. I think that was the biggest thing. They had 19 turnovers, and we had 31 points off of turnovers or something like that. So I think if we can continue that, and I know it won't be up to that standard every night, but the way they turn the ball over, I don't see why we can't continue to manufacture at least 15 to 20 points a night in this series. And the big thing that differentiates Cleveland from the way Orlando played, when you have 2 ball-dominant guards that can really score the ball and they really hold on to that thing a lot, it really helps your defense because you can load up on guys like that. Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to get that ball up. He wants to go make something happen, and we saw that. And neither does James Harden. They want to dribble that thing and until they can create offense for themselves. Now they're willing passers, of course, but it helps you when you can load up on a guy and his tendencies and like 9 times out of 10 he's going to try to get a shot up. The only criticism I have is, man, we got to stop switching Duncan out on these dudes.
Yeah, that was a problem in the fourth.
Oh my goodness. I was like, we can't let these dudes get going. Duncan keep coming out here and he's getting Watusi out here on the perimeter. And I'm like, help. I'm yelling out, help. So I think that's one adjustment we can make. And watching a lot of guys that like I watched when Steph was that guy that everybody hunted, and the Warriors would just hard hedge with Steph. He would hard hedge and he would get back to his guy. So I think JB will probably make some adjustments and not put Duncan on that island out there with 2 amazing one-on-one guys who can embarrass you. So I think that's the only adjustment. But the turnovers and us creating the turnovers was a big plus for us.
No doubt. One thing I put down that I wanted to touch on was just the impact of role players. And I know this, I've touched on this a couple of times, and my love-hate relationship with Danis, it was back to the love side of things, especially when he drilled that buzzer beater. And I was texting you guys, get Ron Holland out of there, and he drills a buzzer beater. And it's not just in the box score, but I think, an overall impact on the game, the Pistons role players were significantly more influential in game number one. Now, Max Strus caused some problems for the Pistons defensively. He's a versatile guy that can knock it down. And I was surprised some of the baskets he had putting the ball on the floor, even had, a couple and ones going to the rim. But I think that will, as the games continue to progress and time continues to play out in this series, I think the Pistons have a significant advantage in the depth of their bench players and their role players, and not just in scoring. And, that's an easy way to measure how productive has a bench been, but defensively, the multiple variety of lineups that JB can go with, I think there's more flexibility in ways to impact a game from the Pistons role players than what Cleveland can bring to the table.
Yeah, one of my biggest takeaways was, Lindsey, you kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, that Duren was very aggressive in this one. He only went 4 of 11 from the field. He only had 11 points, but he was very aggressive trying to get downhill. And I think the biggest impact from him doing that, Jarrett Allen got into early foul trouble immediately. And a lot of that was just from Duren just being aggressive. So even though Duren himself didn't have a super efficient game or a high scoring game or anything, his ability to get Allen out of the game and force him to have to play Mobley at the 5 for long stretches, and then forcing Thomas Bryant to have, how many minutes he played? 10 minutes. Which, by the way, the Pistons should dominate the Thomas Bryant minutes. Anytime Thomas Bryant comes into the game, it should be just like immediate 10-point lead kind of stuff. But getting Duren getting aggressive, and I agree with you, Lindsey. He should be able to push these guys around. Now, the length caused him issues at times. He got blocked in a few shots, but he should be able to move them around and draw fouls, which if you can keep that double big lineup off the floor, not only does it remove, earlier in the game, Cleveland was really getting a lot of offensive rebounds from those two, but then Allen had to come out, and now that really removes that. What it also does, too, is it removes the roam off of Asar from Mobley. Mobley can't just play Asar. Now he has to guard Duren and causes more favorable matchups for the Pistons. So if Duren can be aggressive and continue to be very physical with these guys and try to draw fouls, getting them into foul trouble, that really just wrecks a lot of what Cleveland's planning and wanting to do towards the Pistons.
I just saw, speaking of Jarrett Allen, I just saw him walking down Woodward. I hope he stays out all day and just stays on his legs and has no legs during the game. I would have yelled at him, but I was trying to park.
Was he wearing because people make fun of his outfits? Was he wearing like just a very normal person?
Yeah, he looked homeless.
I love it. Well, we got game 2 coming up later tonight. We'll continue breaking down game number 1, little game 2 preview, and then, as always, a little Q&A at the end. So don't go anywhere. We'll keep it rolling. First break, we'll keep the lights on at Locked On and remain the number 1 sports podcast platform in the world, with a few messages from our friends back in just a second. Hey, today's episode of the Locked On Pistons Squad Show is brought to you by our good friends over at DoorDash. That's right. Hey, the postseason's heating up. No doubt about that. Pistons and Cavs, game number 2 coming up tonight. DoorDash has a way to keep fans in their bag the whole way through. Whether you're watching the highlights, the tunnel fits, hopefully you don't look homeless like Jarrett Allen, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes the entire season even more fun. Because every player has their bag. With DoorDash, fans have one too. DoorDash keeps your snacks stored, stocked, and your gear fresh, and your watch party vibes absolutely on point. There are nights when your team might stress you out. Okay, third quarter got a little stressful there. Let DoorDash become your post-game therapy. Sometimes you just need that dessert right now, or maybe you need those late night interviews. When they hit, you need the chips. Am I right? DoorDash is built exactly for that. If the group chat says let's pull up, DoorDash makes sure you show up prepared. Snacks, cups, and even a phone charger for a friend who's always at 2%. That guy's the worst. From tip-off to overtime, stay in your bag and order on DoorDash. Get snacks, drinks, gear, whatever gets you through the season delivered right to your door. DoorDash, in your bag all season long. Hey, don't forget to sign up for the Everydayer Club. Who does a fantastic job with that. You'll get access to ad-free audio for the Locked On Pistons feed, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcast app. All right. Continuing to break down game number one, it was a 111-101 win for the Detroit Pistons. They came firing out of the gates, ready to play. In fact, let's just go there. That was so refreshing to see that they took control, and from the jump, it was like, okay, this team is ready to go. And Lindsey, I thought they kind of set the tone on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, absolutely. Realistically, that's how we're going to have to win games throughout this playoffs run. We're going to have to be the best defensive team every night to play the way we play stylistically all season. I think offensively, like who has always talked about, we'll manufacture points if we can get steals and deflections and things like that. So I don't really too much worry about offensively what people say we lack. Now, I do hope JB puts the ball in Asor's hand more. If they're going to start a big on him, then I would initiate offense with him every single time. And I would make that big come out here and have to do things that he's not used to doing. And continue to exploit Tobias in the post, because Tobias is on fire, man. He has been balling the entire playoffs. I think whatever was said about him before this, he is quiet.
Does he have beef with someone on Cleveland? Is there someone on Cleveland he hates too, or like?
I hope so. We're gonna start that. We're gonna say they said something about him. We're gonna start that beef, cool. Because if he continues to play like this, man, I love our chances against anybody. Having five starters in double figures, Giannis off the bench, double figures. I do have some things to say about him, because I know he's not a true point guard, but man, you cannot miss Duncan when he's wide open. Like, I'm sitting there on the sideline yelling like, dude, he's wide open in the corner, and he didn't see him. And as a point guard, you're like, dude, first thing you're taught as a point guard, find your shooters. That when you get the ball off the rebound, you look up and see where your shooters are. But other than that, man, he played great defensively, offensively, provided a big spark for us. So those are the things that I'm looking for us to keep doing and keep getting better at. And JB keeps mixing up our offense, getting Cade off the ball sometimes. Cade didn't have to be Superman this game one, but I look for him to get back on track. He didn't shoot the ball as well as he normally does. But if Cade can get back on track and everybody else continue to do their jobs, man, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I really like the point you brought up about Ausar getting more on ball. And I think JB's done more of that the last two games. And this first game in Cleveland, there's multiple plays that I'd sent you guys the wrong one, my fault. There's a play I wanted to show you guys that I went through, and I did a few, I tweeted out a few clips of that I really liked that JB did. So I'm going to reference these clips in case you guys want to look at them. One of the main things that JB's really doing a ton of is putting the ball in Asar's hands, or or encouraging Ausar to be aggressive off defensive rebounds and pushing early in transition. Yes. And that's created so much good offense for the Pistons for a multitude of reasons. It makes Ausar a threat, so you have to guard him in transition. You can't just leave him alone. He's going to get to the basket. And if you don't guard, or what it also does, I should say, is that it creates cross matches where if they're trying to keep Mobley on Ausar, if you push early in transition, there is no, I'm supposed to be on Ausar. It's just, okay, pick up who you got. You got stop ball. You got, Stu's running the lane. Now I just got to pick him up. And then one of the clips I sent was he pushed early in transition. It gets Stu a matchup on Dennis Schroeder right underneath the basket. Ausar realizes that quickly, pulls it back out, throws it to Caris LeVert. He wants the ball right back, but Caris drives on that closeout. So now Ausar starts to drift baseline. He gets the ball back, and he just touch passes it immediately to Stu. Right. And you realize he got that early cross match because he pushed in transition. Another one happens where he pushes early in transition, and he gets Harden stuck on him. So now they run this. They have Ausar run the action early in the shot clock, 17, 18 seconds left, with Duncan coming off a pin down, and he curls off of it because this defender's really on his hip. If you have Mobley on Ausar and he's initiating the action, as soon as Duncan comes off that curl, Mobley's going to be in that gap. He's taking away the drive. He's taking away that driving space. But because Ausar got it early, now Harden's on him. Harden doesn't want to play defense anyway, so he's definitely not going to be roaming. So now Duncan catches it. He's able to drive, and Harden's nowhere to be found in that gap. He doesn't try to take it away, and Duncan's able to get all the way down to the basket. I mean, there's that him getting the ball early in transition creates so much havoc for the Cavs. And the Pistons play with a level of physicality with their bigs that if they get any kind of mismatch on anyone smaller than them, they'll just completely kill it. And then, like you said, Lindsey, they are really moving Cade off the ball a lot here. And I know a lot of people, when they hear that, they think, well, Cade's our best scorer. Why is he off the ball? It's not that he's off the ball to standing. They're running him off ball screens. They're coming off pin downs to put him in better positions to score. And what that forces is, like Lindsey mentioned, they have to guard Asar if he's initiating. They can't just not guard him. So now Cade's coming off a pin down. He has an advantage. The guy has to guard Asar. There was one play they had Asar throws a pass to Cade coming off a pin down on the left side. Asar's on the right wing. And because Cade's coming off that, as soon as Cade catches the ball, Mobley wants to shift over to Cade, and Cade immediately just touch passes it right back to Asar. Yep. He cuts right down the slot, and now he's able to create an open three for Tobias. Like, it's JB, I feel like I've wanted him to put the ball in Asar's hands a lot more throughout the year, but I feel like JB has done such a better job the last 3 games. I feel like he's really tested out in game 6, liked it, went more to game 7, more even to game 1. Like, he's trusting Asar more as a ball handler. And I do think that's way you really, take advantage of them trying to roam off of Asar in the half court.
And I would definitely tell Asar, anytime we get a missed basket and you can get into the teeth of the defense with his speed and agility, get into the teeth of the defense as much as you can. Because I feel like he'll make the right basketball play. If he collapses the defense just on a secondary break, it'll do so much more for our offense, man, and create more like matchup problems, like you said. And that's instant offense. That's instant offense without having to run a play or create something, And one other thing that bothered me about this game also, they got this guy guarding Cade. What's his name? D. Wade or something?
Oh, Dean Wade.
They got
his name's Dean Wade.
And I'm sitting here like, is it just me? This guy cannot guard Cade.
He's a big body.
Who cares? He can't move. So I'm yelling out, okay, we got to about 5 or 6 times, we just got to clear out and let Cade go. Like, this dude can't guard him. Like, why are we running screens to get other guys on him, unless it's Harden, of course. But man, blow by this guy. Like, that's easy money. Like, this guy's a cone out there. They got a couple of cones out there.
Yeah. I think that's something they'll do more of moving forward. Yes. I think they'll start to, even just him attacking Dean Wade, but I think they'll do an even better job of trying to attack Harden on and off the ball. Right. Again, Harden doesn't want to play defense. He's going to be ball watching. He doesn't have to just be in isolation. It can be setting screens involving his man. Is he going to pay attention to a slip? Is he going to switch on it? Like, just a completely attack him and attack Donovan Mitchell as well, continually as much as possible. Try to get Cade that matchup. That pull-up Cade hit at the end of the game was on Donovan Mitchell. He got the mismatch. He cleared everyone out, and he was able to just go to his spot and just raise up right over him. So I see someone mention it in the chat as well that JB, I think he hit the right buttons. I think JB's doing a great job some of the last few games. He took Asar out with around, I think, 4 minutes left, and he brought in Danis. So they had Danis, Cade, Duncan, Tobias, and JD. And I've been a strong person saying this never works. Keep Asar on the floor. You need him on the floor.
Yeah, I wanted him on the floor too, though. I wanted him on the floor.
It was a risky decision because at that time, that was when Harden, I think, had scored 13 straight on Duncan. So, like, I was like, okay, are you going to go offense or are you going to get Asar back in here to check Harden because he's going crazy? Now, it ended up working out. They got just enough stops, and it did open up the floor. Cade was able to get to the basket, forced Mobley to help, and he was able to find JD a few times under the basket, and they ended up extending the lead for it. So JB felt it at that point. He felt like it was the right move. Ended up paying off. I wonder how much they actually do that moving forward because, like you said, Lindsey, like it's without Asar on the floor, they're going right at Duncan. It's scary, but if you can get enough stops like they did at the end, they got just enough stops to make it work, and then you go over on offense, you score. I mean, it works out. So I think JB's done a good job pressing the right buttons, and I really liked how Cade responded to at the end of the game, extend the lead once it got close.
Yeah, Cade had that closer mentality, which, I think nobody's surprised to see that by any means. But, you look at the box score and it might not necessarily jump out at you as far as the production from Cade. But, there's just no doubt about it. He has evolved into a bona fide superstar and has that closer mentality. The other part I wanted to pick your guys' brain about, and it's not just because I was having a meltdown with the amount Holland was playing, but just because it's one more wrinkle, it's one more element. And it's not personal. It's not personal. And it's just it's a discussion that we've had on this show time and time again, that as a best of 7 series continues to progress and you look for an advantage here, a wrinkle there, and changing what you put out there as far as your best lineup to give you the best opportunity to win. But obviously that was Holland's most minutes he's played in some time. You got Isaiah Stewart coming in, Javonte Green not playing nearly as much. Do you guys think that's a sign of things to come, or more of just a wrinkle to keep Cleveland off balance?
Lindsey, I wonder, have you heard, I've said on the podcast the last few days, I've been told that Stu is not 100%. Have you seen that? Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I can tell by how he's playing. Like I saw him, I'm like, man, something's not right. But he'll fight through it. I think he'll be fine. But to speak to Jake, what you were talking about as far as rotation is concerned, most coaches, when they get comfortable in the playoffs and in different series, they'll start playing, they'll extend the bench more. And I think that's what JB's doing now. I think he's feeling a little comfortable. He wants to get other guys involved in the series. And I think that's what we see. But I still think you got to play Green. Like, you got to play Green. He's been unbelievable in the playoffs. But if you can get other guys in the game and get them some experience, and they can contribute the way everybody has been doing, then you do that. So I think JB did a good job of, getting other guys some extended minutes.
Yeah, I think this is probably for anyone that was confused that maybe hasn't listened to the podcast. I was in the middle of Game 7. I think it was either Game 6 or Game 7. Someone told me at halftime, Stu probably isn't going to play much in the second half. He's not feeling good. I forget which that was the one where Paul Reed ended up playing in the second half. One of those 2 games. And someone told me a few days ago as well that he's just not 100%. So I'm interested to see what happens to Stu. Do they tell him like, hey, we love you, but we're going to go with Paul. We want you to get 100%, or is he going to continue to push to try? I don't know what he's dealing with. I don't know if it's knee, foot, ankle. I don't know what it is, but he clearly doesn't look 100%. I wonder how they work through that. I think this series might be a Ron series, because I think JB, what he's thinking here is we saw how Toronto was able to disrupt Mitchell and Harden with this ball pressure nonstop, and how they were able to turn the ball over a ton. And now you got Ausar harassing Donovan Mitchell. You got Cade, who, by the way, I thought was incredible defensively on Harden, and he switched on Mobley a few times as well and really cut off the drive. I thought this was one of the best games I've seen Cade play defensively overall. But then now when Ausar comes out, you're bringing in Ron, who isn't as good defensively as Ausar, but probably is the next best on the team at being just a pest on the ball, harassing you, making it your life just miserable, just wanting the game to be over. I'm not trying to deal with this. And if you have Ausar and Ron playing, when Ausar comes off and then Ron comes on, it's just 48 straight minutes of just constant harassment. You're just not getting any breaks at any point. You're just constantly being harassed. So I could see JB going, because Javonte only played 3 minutes in this game. Ron played 10. Javonte is a much better, and Lindsey, you mentioned this a few pods, or I think it might have been last pod, that Javonte did a great job on Paolo, because he's a big body, he's strong, he plays strong, and Javonte is a way better off the ball defender. He causes havoc off the ball. He's able to rebound the ball. He's able to be physical. At the point of attack, he's not bad, but he's not as quick, and he's not as good with the screen navigation or anything. But he's better when he's guarding guys bigger, when he's able to just use his strength. So I wouldn't be shocked if JB was like, okay, I'm going to ride with Ron here and give him a chance when Ausar comes out so we can keep that ball pressure. But even with that, I agree with that. I do also agree with Lindsey, though, that Javonte has been so good that I would be shocked if he just, left the rotation, or they didn't start giving him more minutes still, because Javonte has just been straight up just really good for Detroit in the playoffs. He's been one of their, overall through the first 8 games. I mean, has he not been a top 6? He's been really good for them. So I think Javonte will continue to play, but I won't be shocked if this is more of a Ron series.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And that's exactly what I want to talk next. Just adjustments and tweaks and matchups from game 1 to game 2, what that might look like, and a little bit of a deeper dive in the preview of game 2 later tonight. So that's coming up next. Of course, we'll have our Q&A to end it as well. Don't go anywhere. It's the live Locked On Pistons Squad Show. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Pistons Squad Show is brought to you by our good friends over at Game Time. There's nothing quite like playoff basketball and experiencing it live. Just ask Lindsey Hunter, just ask Khahil, the intensity of the crowd, although Ku's working, he's got that credential. But the crowd, the rivalries, it's a completely different experience when you're in the building and you can hear LCA getting loud and getting after it. The NBA playoffs are where unforgettable moments happen, and being there in person just hits a little bit different. Game Time makes it incredibly easy to find tickets, even those hard to get playoff games, in just a few taps. And of course, with the Game Time guarantee, you know you're getting 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Game Time makes it easier to find the great seats in just a couple of minutes. And I love the zone deals. You pick the section, Game Time finds the seats with the best deals, so you save the most money possible. And it's, of course, with the 100% authentic ticket guarantee. You can feel confident every time you're buying tickets because of the 100% guarantee and that ticket coverage. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account and use that code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create the account, redeem the code LOCKEDON LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Game 3 tonight. Game 2. I'm getting ahead of myself. Just too excited. Pistons back at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And this does feel like, as far as a series from a coaching perspective, because of the contrast in styles and everything else, there's an element of a chess match here, and what pieces are going to be positioned and moved next is always something that is fun to speculate and preview. And looking ahead to game number 2, Lindsey, what do you think the message has been, and perhaps what we might see that would be a little bit different than game 1?
Well, I don't know what'll be different from the Pistons. I feel like in this game, I would really stress to our guys, hey, we need to be ultra physical. Like, we need to come out and punch these guys upside the head. Like, if somebody's running through the lane, you gotta put an elbow in their chest. Like, you gotta be super extra physical and impose your will upon these guys. And even if you at the expense of getting an extra foul here and there, you got to let these guys know you're not going to tiptoe through the tulips during this series. This is going to be a knockdown, drag out. And I know you guys don't want to play like that. So that makes me want to play even more physical. You know what I'm saying? That's the message that I would be sending. Like, look, forget all the X's and O's. We need to come out here and knock the hell out of these guys, dude. They want to tiptoe around. Allen wants to run around and get offensive rebounds and get dunk backs. And, the other big wants to step out on the perimeter. He wants no parts of being physical. So he is definitely somebody you got to just cave his chest in as soon as you get an opportunity to. Like, I would tell Duran, hey, I'm willing to take an offensive foul from you. Just run over one of these dudes. Just flat over them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got
like Kobe did. Like Kobe did. Powell.
That's what you do. Yes, that's what you do. And just send a message right away. Like, put your shoulder right in his chest, sternum, and run him over. And just look at him like, hey, that's what type of game it's about to be. And that's the message that I want the Pistons to send tonight.
I think that's a good. I think the overall idea there is correct. You want to really show these bigs that look. Allen is a really good player. Mobley is a very good player. But the thing that's been questioned about them has been, are they soft? Are they soft in the playoff time? Are they going to be physical enough? So I do think the Pistons should continue just to keep testing that over and over and see if they're willing to match it. Now, they did so in the last series, Game 7. I think Jared Allen probably played one of the best games he's ever played.
He did. He was
Game
balling.
1, yeah, he was crazy. In Game 1, though, I thought Mobley was fine, but Allen really was taken out the game immediately by Duran and got into foul trouble. And then Mobley, when he's the lone 5 on the floor, you saw at the end of the game, Duran was just, he's too strong for him. He's too physical for him. He's able to move him out the way and get rebounds and get offensive boards. So I think you do that. I think even the bigger part of doing that, what comes of it is, like I mentioned earlier, you can get them into foul trouble. If you get them off the floor, that whole offensive rebounding and length that they provide defensively, all of a sudden that's out the window. So I agree. You continue to test their physicality. The other thing I think the Pistons will probably do more of, You mentioned earlier, Lindsey, how Tobias has been playing. If they're going to continue to put Mobley on Asar, that means that the matchup for Tobias is James Harden. And if
barbecue chicken.
Yeah. Yes. If they want to if they want to go with that matchup, I would feed not only would I feed Tobias a ton, I would have Tobias in screening action nonstop. I'd be seeing if James Harden wants to switch on the perimeter. Does he want to switch on Cade? If he doesn't, we're feeding Tobias a ton in the post, letting him go right at Harden. I'm making Harden work on defense. He doesn't want to move. He's old now. Even when he was younger, he didn't want to move, but he's older now.
You said something that doesn't go together. Harden work on defense. When have we ever seen James Harden work on defense?
Fair. And I would just go at him every time. I think Tobias, people keep asking, can Tobias keep it up? I mean, if they're going to guard him with Harden, I think he'll keep it up. I would go.
If they guard him with Harden, I would go drop 4 all night. Like, we gonna see.
Did you see him cross him up at the end?
Man, yes. Dude can't guard a dead man. Dude, the only defender that I've seen, like, I would say, okay, they about the same as him and the kid out there in LA.
Oh, Luka.
They're about the same. They're about the same. Like, one may move if the wind blow, the other one ain't moving if it don't matter if it's a hurricane.
Oh my gosh, how am I supposed to continue after those one-liners, man?
Before Lindsey even said it, someone in the chat said, Lindsey, who's the worst offender, Luka or Harden? Like, they knew it was coming.
Yeah.
They knew it was coming.
That's good branding by Lindsey there, that if there's going to be some defensive insults, that Luka's he's gonna get drug a little bit there. But I think the fatigue is a factor as well, because the Pistons can play. They've demonstrated the ability to play 100 miles per hour for 48 minutes, and I just don't think Cleveland has. I mean, one, it obviously doesn't favor their style of play, and two, I just don't know if they're physically able.
Yeah, that's another thing I came away after game 1 saying, is I just don't know. Like, I'm not saying the Pistons are going to easily win this series. I'm not saying about this. That's not what I'm suggesting. It's going to be a hard one. They're going to have to play super well to beat the Cavs. But what I do walk away after game 1 saying is, I don't know how Cleveland is able to make up the difference that they had in the margins and the possession battle after game 1. I don't see. The only personnel that I see that they can get to is the offensive rebound department with the 2 bigs on the floor. But they've turned the ball over like crazy all playoffs. They're playing the team that turns you over the most in the playoffs. I don't think that's changing. The Pistons are going to continue to get offensive rebounds. The Pistons are going to continue to draw more free throws than them because they're more physical and they get downhill a lot more of their shots at the rim. I struggle to see, and obviously that's not Cleveland's game. Like Lindsey mentioned, like Cleveland's game is we're going to be explosive offensively. We're just going to score so much to where you have to keep up. But if the games are low scoring or if the games are close, I struggle to see how Cleveland's going to be able to keep up with Detroit in all of the margins. I mean, the Pistons dominate all of them. Second chance points, fast break points, points off turnovers, free throws. Like, they dominate all of them. And I don't know what Cleveland does to kind of shrink that gap that the Pistons can create.
I think they showed us a little bit what they do. When Harden starts taking over games and start getting to the free throw line, he made about 5 or 6 floaters.
Yeah,
we were taking his 3 ball away from him. That's how they can try to narrow those margins by, hey, we're just going to score to the point where we catch up. And they did. They tied the game up with playing that way. And we started allowing them to play on islands a little too much. And that's what we have to, we have to cut down on letting these guys play one-on-one, because they're really good at it. Like, you saw some of the moves that they were making out there. I'm like, we got to stop that. Like, stop putting getting our worst defenders out there on an island, and we're out in the stands crying like, why is he guarding him? we're in the middle of the floor, like, it's nowhere. Like, shade them one way, do something, but don't let those guys play one-on-one, because that's how they get into the game.
That was literally, you took the words right out of my mouth, Lindsey. I was going to say where it felt like I blinked and all of a sudden they were back in the game. And, I was trying to, in my dumb brain, trying to piece it together. How did this happen? And I mean, you just explained it perfectly. The other thing, and I know we were texting about it, but just the effort plays that you saw the Pistons have, like the chase down dribble tap from Danis Jenkins and Asar with his. I just don't see Cleveland making those types of plays, even in pivotal moments in a playoff game. It just, and, I'm not trying to minimize it by saying, oh, the Pistons want it more by anything like that. But, and I'm looking through it through Detroit Pistons lens. I get that. But if I'm a Cleveland fan, those types of plays would burn in my mind because I'm not seeing my team make those types of plays.
And it's not even just that. It's also like the points off of turnovers. Even if they minimize, like Lindsey said earlier, if they minimize the turnovers a little bit more, I think the Pistons are going to continue to turn them over, but they're not going to turn the ball over 20 times every time. It might be like 17, 16, whatever. But if they cut it down, the Pistons, if you go back to the Magic series, they return the ball over, or they return the Magic over at times, but then still not scoring off of it. Like they had their points off turnovers were lower than we've ever seen them. And that's because Orlando is they're an athletic team. They are a physical team. They get back. They have better transition defense. Even if the Cavs just turn it over 16 times, I feel like the Pistons are probably going to make them pay almost every time they turn the ball over because one of their stars doesn't want to get back. He doesn't want to play defense. And they're not necessarily old. Allen's not old. Mobley's not. They're not old, but they're not as young or as athletic or as, like you mentioned, Jake, is kind of I don't want to say want to, but just like they're more explosive in transition. I don't think the Cavs transition defense and definitely their defense off of turnovers is going to be good enough to stop the Pistons when they get out in early transition or in fast breaks. Like I think the Pistons are going to capitalize almost every time in those situations.
All right. Go ahead, Lindsey.
Yeah, I remember watching last series. I think Donovan Mitchell went to the basket and kind of flopped a little bit. Oh, no, he turned the ball over. And he gave all this extra, foul baiting, acting. And he didn't get back. And Schroeder was yelling at him like,
oh, that's right.
Turned it over and you didn't get back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that's been indicative of how Harden and Donovan Mitchell, that's kind of who they are. Like, they've had enough success in this league. And I don't see the sense of urgency. I know we will eventually, especially on the offensive end with those guys, because they can really light the scoreboard up. But I just don't see the sense of urgency that has awakened in the Pistons since, our first series. Like we had to play with a sense of urgency because it was, you had to win. Every game was a must win, which I kind of think activated our guys, hopefully, to understand that, hey, this is not going to be a cakewalk. It doesn't matter you won 60 games in the regular season. You have to come out in the playoffs and play your heart out every single night. And hopefully, game one is an indication of that, and game two it'll be a carryover.
Yeah, dude, I do feel like, and I know he's bounced around and he's even spent some time in Detroit. Dennis Schroeder is he's like the vocal guy for that team. And, obviously when you start ranking the list of guys and their, offensive abilities and everything else, but he's obviously tough. He's like sneaky, gritty and has a lot of those characteristics that contributes to playing with an edge for sure. But there was one comment here I wanted to get to because I sent it in the group chat, and it's worth bringing back up the Grant Hill shout out during the broadcast. That's your guy, right, Lindsey?
Crazy thing about it, we was talking before. He was like, "Where you at? Where you at?" And I was like, "I'm on my way, man. I'm walking in the arena." He's like, "Yeah, I'm not shouting you out either." I'm like, "Yeah, right, you better."
Good deal. No, that was awesome. That's always like, I mean, it's happened the last two games, and it happened with Lisa Salters and Richard. You're just friends with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a likable guy when I'm not on the court.
I know that's right. I know. Based on the FaceTime, the Game 6 FaceTime, man. Oh, I still is cracking up after that.
Bro, do you know how many tweets I've gotten about Lindsey saying "What's up, Granny" in the last episode? There are so many people. There are so many people that hit me. I was like, Lindsey is absolutely hilarious, dude. I was like, none of this is scripted. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Lindsey being himself.
Yeah, that my grandma called me. That made her day, and it was too funny, man. Too funny. All right, we got one more segment. I've highlighted some great some great questions in the comments already, so we will start with those. But if you've got one on your mind, hit up the chat, and we'll do a little Q&A to end it before we officially get you ready for game number 2, Pistons Cavs. Don't go anywhere. Back in just a second.
You ever watch a game and think, I need to know what these fans are saying about this team right now? On Reddit, you're plugged into millions of fans who are just as hopeful, dramatic, analytical, and loyal as you are. The Reddit app is for authentic conversations about anything and everything. I love that there are different team subreddits for every single NBA team, so I know that if the Knicks are dominating the Hawks like in that game the other day, you can go right to the Hawks subreddit and say, how much are they breaking down and crashing out right now? I can go straight to the NBA one and see all kinds of great things. Reddit is where real fans hang out. Download the Reddit app and dive into your favorite team or the Mavericks subreddit for hot takes, fresh memes, and the group chat that literally never sleeps. Download the Reddit app today.
Final segment of the program. Jake Riepma alongside two-time NBA champ Lindsey Hunter and host of Locked On Pistons, Khahil. All right, first one that really stood out to me, and I know it's not Locked On Cavs, but the job stability of the Cleveland Cavaliers head coach. If the Pistons go on and win this series, Kenny Atkinson, do you think he is on the hot seat?
I feel like it feels like almost every coach in the NBA is on the hot seat, unless you're like there's like 3 to 5 coaches that like, okay, no matter what happens, like you're good. And like every other coach is just like on the hot seat if you don't win the championship. So I would say, sure. I think Kenny's done a good job with them. I think they wanted more of an offensive mind. That's why they went and got Kenny, and he's kind of helped them become a better offense. Now their defense has slipped. But I think a lot of that has to do also with you going and getting James Harden, and like James Harden's not helping on defense. So I don't know. I would not fire him, but I don't doubt that he'll be on the hot seat. Like I said, I think almost every coach, as soon as they lose in the playoffs, unless your name is Mazzulla, Kerr, JB, now that he's got an extension, there's like probably Spoelstra.
That's about it.
Yeah, outside of that, you're just on the. I'm sure comments will probably bring up someone else we maybe forgot, but like it feels like every coach in the NBA is always on a hot seat nonstop.
Right. I mean, I don't ever want to see a coach lose their job, but we don't care.
Yeah, if we contribute.
That's not our problem.
Right. So
that's y'all problem. We don't care. We just want to win.
Yeah.
I wish him his best, but hey, we don't care. That's y'all coach. That's not our coach.
It's a great point. This one's for Lindsey from Devin Weems 618. Are you still coaching? Still working as a high school coach?
No, can't do it. Won't do it. Can't.
You didn't like it?
Can't deal with parents. Can't do them. Coddled kids. Everybody think their kid's good.
I know that's right.
Like you're doing your kid a disservice telling them he's good and he's not. That's just beyond. Dude, I've had to talk to parents, and and I love all the kids. Like I don't care if the kid is talented or not. I'm gonna work with the kid because that's what I love doing. But parents be getting carried away. The one of our parents, man, and I love her to death, but she was in tears when I told her kid wasn't good. I had to be honest with her. I wasn't gonna lie.
Right. I was.
Well, my son, the coach said. I said the coach is lying to you. Your son is not that good.
With my dad coaching at Northwood growing up, man, it was never left up to the imagination. I was so fortunate and grateful to be raised by a coach, and he would always say the coach isn't playing you because he doesn't think you can help him win. The coach just wants to win. He's going to play the guys that is going to help you win.
My father never told me I was good until I got drafted. That's the type of household I grew up in.
Yep.
I had to literally get drafted for my dad to be like, "Oh yeah, you all right.
You all right."
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Lindsey. Did you have to do the cuts?
Yeah.
So do you have any like crazy stories from things that happened? Because there was some crazy stuff that happened at my school when like cuts happened. There are some crazy stories that happen. I always wondered, like, how do coaches handle like those situations when you have to cut so many people? Like, did you care at all?
No, it's part of life.
Exactly.
It's part of life. I'm trying to teach you a life lesson. Like, this is not I'm not of the mentality of everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets an award. That's not realistic. It's not realistic. Like, dude, I had to tell my sons. I had 3 boys that played basketball, and my dad didn't sugarcoat anything. So I had to tell my boys when they weren't good. I was like, Dad, when I'm like, you're not good, you suck, bro. You gotta get better. Like, if you want to get better, I'm gonna help you, but you suck. Like, you shouldn't be playing. Like, no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think when you coddle kids, man, it makes it hard, man.
Did you ever could I see did you ever when like you had was there ever a player you had to cut or a kid you had to cut that maybe was like decent or whatever? And like, cause I know a lot of kids would ask, I know like when I was in high school and people got cut, they would come to school the next day and be like, oh, he didn't even tell me what I can do to be better, to be on next year's team, blah, blah. Did you ever do something like that? Or do you think coaches should do that? Or like, cause part of me is like, if you're not really that good, like they would basically have to tell you, get better at everything. And that's just like, and I'm sure they want to avoid those conversations too. It's like, we don't really want to dive into that. Like where do you with it?
Those are the conversations you got to have. Like, hey, you got to get better at everything. You can't dribble. You can't shoot. You can't defend. You barely can run. Like, you got to learn how to run.
Barely can run.
you got a lot of work to do, son. Like, just work on it.
Oh,
dude,
man,
I'm telling you, my second oldest son was the most unathletic kid in the family. I'm like, I was thinking about doing a DNA test. Like, this dude is so unathletic, bro. Like, he was ridiculous. Like, he was slow. He was weak. He was like, I was like, this cannot be my son. Like, this is not my seed. Like, my kids are athletes. Like, you know what I'm saying? This dude was totally off the totem pole. Like, I had to work so hard to get him to be an athlete. Like, it took years. Like, I made him run miles. You're going to run cross country. You're lifting weights. I made him do everything till he became a Division I athlete. But it took years, bro. It took years of work. And he sucked. Like, he was terrible.
I'm crying.
I told him that, though. Like, I told him he sucked. I was like, bro, you are awful. I said, you got so much work to do. I said, you really want to play basketball? You got so much work to do. Now, if you want to do it, I'm going to help you. If not, let's find golf or tennis. Like, we can do something.
I hope he's not a subscriber, Lindsey. He's going to unsubscribe from the show.
Hey, he'll tell you. Everything I'm telling you is the truth.
Oh, my God.
And you know what? Because the way I grew up, my dad was like, it was like, I told you, my dad never told me I was good. So I didn't understand why people would say that. And so my oldest, he was a super great athlete, but he was soft. And so they had lost the game and we were coming home and he was whining to me, Dad, you never tell us we did a good job. And I was like, you didn't do a good job. What you want me to tell you? You just lost to this sorry team and you want me to tell you did a good. No, you suck. You got to get better. And if you don't, you won't play basketball. Simple. It's life.
I'll say this. Lindsey saying that his second son was so unathletic that he wanted a DNA test and then was still able to determine a D1 athlete. Lindsey might be the greatest trainer out there. if he was so unathletic that Lindsey wanted a DNA test and he ended up being a D1 athlete.
Yeah. Division I athlete, bro. Had Division I scholarships.
Oh my gosh. I think this is the best comment we've had so far. No filter. That's what you're going to get here. No filter. All right. This is a good question though, too. Do you guys think the national media pays more attention to how bad the other team plays rather than how good the Pistons play? I feel like they do the same thing to the Lions, and that's from David QZZZ.
Go ahead, Lindsey.
Always. You hear them making excuses for the other team all the time. It's never what we did. It's what the other team didn't do, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, we just got to learn to live with it. This is just what it is. Like, we're used to being the underdogs. We're used to people saying, oh, the Pistons don't have enough scoring. Like, how can they manufacture enough points to be good in the playoffs, you know? That's just what it is. So our guys hear it. Our guys play through it. Our guys keep rising to the occasion. So that's what it is.
Yeah, I've tried to see which shows would mention the Pistons or if they're going to talk about them. And yeah, none of them mention the Pistons really. No. It's all about Cavs. What did they do wrong? Can Harden do this? Right. Can Mitchell do that? Are they going to beat the Pistons? Bob? It's never like any analysis on like what the Pistons did well or their players in general. They still talk about the Pistons like they have a bunch of scrubs around Cade, by the way. Like that's the thing that kills me. They talk like the Pistons have a bunch of trash cans around Cade. Like it's just
I heard somebody say we got a bunch of tryhards with Cade. I was like, what? I said, but there was somebody that picked us to come out of the
Chris
East.
Broussard.
Yeah, that's my boy Chris. Yeah, he picked us to come out. So
you know Chris?
Yeah, that's my dude. Kudos to Chris.
All right. I like it.
Everybody else, they know what they can go.
It does. Yeah, I was watching. What was it? Sports Center, just with SVP and Lakers Thunder, and they didn't even spend all but a minute on the Pistons game. But hey, I agree with this comment here from Troy Spencer 416. We don't need the respect. We just go and take it.
I do want to talk about one thing that I hope. I've been trying to find who the referee is going to be, because I pray to God it's not Tony Brothers, unibrow, round mound head. I hope he ain't refereeing tonight. I can't stand him, man, because Donovan Mitchell after the game start crying about, I guess I have to embellish. You already embellish when you drive to the rim, you flop like everybody else. So he's trying to put that in the atmosphere so he can try to get more calls, like he act like we fouled him a ton or something. I hate that, bro. Like if anybody to complain about fouls, it's Cade. Cade never flops, never complains about a foul. He got hit inside the face the other night. Should have been an and one. They just let it go. Like, come on, man.
The craziest part about Mitchell saying that, bro, is he had one shot in the paint. Like the whole night, he only took one shot in the paint. There was like, Lindsey, you were there. I know you saw it. There was like 5-6 different occasions where he went to a floater instead of going all the way to the paint, and he made the floaters. He's a great scorer. But like if you're going to stop 8 feet from the rim to go to a floater, if you make it, I mean, you're a great scorer. I mean, I'm not criticizing for doing it. You're making them. But if you do that and then after the game say, why am I not getting free throws? I'm like, bro, you're stopping 8 feet short of the contact. You're taking floaters. Where are you supposed to get fouls from? Where are you getting free throws from?
I'm telling you, he's trying to put that out there for the refs can kind of, cater to him. But hey, I'm not buying it. And if he starts, my motto was always this: if you're gonna call the foul, then I'm gonna make it worth my while. Like I'm gonna knock the hell out of it. Like they're gonna know it's a foul. Like
it was crazy. I said that to somebody at pickup the other day. We were playing pickup like 2-3 days ago, and it was getting heated. We were talking crazy back to each other, and he called foul on one of these. And I looked at him. I looked at him. And I was like, "All right, bro, you calling that a foul? Next time you drive, I'll make sure I foul you."
Exactly.
Now, my friends, they encourage that we don't do that because you never know when anyone's on. But we try to tone it down a little bit after that.
Gotta be ready. Hey, you got to be ready for Mortal Kombat out there if you're gonna foul like that. Mortal Kombat, because guys out, that's why I quit playing pickup ball.
Bro, I had one story taught me that lesson, and my friends almost stopped hooping with me because of it. Now, look, I'll give you a quick backstory, Lindsey. I talk trash nonstop. And the only reason why I talk trash on the court is because when I was like 7-8 years old and trying to get into basketball, my stepdad at the time would have me go hoop with like people much older than me. And I quickly realized that part of basketball culture is trash talking mental. If you're not ready for that, you will be played off the court. You'll have no chance. So from the get-go, I was like, I gotta be ready to talk. So I've talked trash my whole life. It gets me going. It keeps me engaged. So there was one time one of my friends from the city took me down to hoop. One of the things I just naturally would say, and I didn't mean nothing by it, but I would just naturally say, I would always say like and one, and I would say the B, like call someone the B word.
Oh, cool.
I quickly realized. I realized as soon as we hoop down there, that you better be ready. You better get in the car, get out. You better run. You do that. If you do that, it's cooked. You better be ready to get out. So I learned from then, and I try not to talk as much. But every now and then, I get a little out of pocket. But yeah, you don't hear me calling people that no more.
No, last time I played pickup ball, I broke a dude's finger because he kept grabbing me.
Oh my God! What? Like on purpose or accident?
On purpose.
I love it.
Karate chop right through him. Bah! He came in the next day. Lindsey, look what you did to my finger. I was like, lesson learned. Keep your damn hands off me.
Oh my gosh.
Cool. I used to be brutal in pickup ball. Whew.
Right. No, I know for a fact Lindsey's one of those people that if you saw Lindsey hooping, you turn around, you walk right back out.
Yeah. Maybe this game isn't for me.
Look, my second son, the one I told y'all was a horrible athlete, he was playing pickup with us one time. We were at the gym, a lot of overseas guys, pros. And this dude, he's playing on the other team. This is when he had got to the point where he was pretty good. We would let him play.
You hard fouled him?
No, listen, I'm going up for a shot. He hits my elbow. And I'm like, he didn't give me the foul. So I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, God.
I said, okay. So we're coming down again, and he's standing on the rim waiting for the rebound, and I ran him straight to the wall. Boom! Act like nothing happened. He got up. He was like startled. He was like, Dad. I was like, hey, you didn't give me my foul, bro. That's what happens.
Remind me to always stay on Lindsey's good side.
That's why I don't play pickup ball no more, dude. I can't do it. I'm like,
Man, Lindsey said, he was like, Dad.
I'm not dad right now, dude. I'm your ops.
Oh my gosh, too funny. What an episode. It never fails. It never disappoints. That's why you subscribe, and that's why you get the Locked On Pistons Squad Show twice per week. All right, guys. Final words, game 2 tonight.
If they win this one, I think it will be ugly in this series. I think Cleveland has to tie it up here tonight, or the Pistons might really have flexed their muscle mentally as well on Cleveland.
Well, I drank all this first game, and the rest of it is for game 2 tonight. So we better win tonight, because I will be on that surprise.
Oh my God. I love it. All right, Pistons Cavs coming up later tonight. We'll be back with you on Tuesday. We will have the everyday episode as soon as he stops laughing. Thanks so much for joining us. You guys are the best. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you.
Peace.